Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's meeting. We'll give folks a few moments before we get started. Gracias a todos por estar con nosotros en esta tarde. Vamos a darles a todos un momento para que se puedan conectar y comenzaremos la junta. So again, welcome everyone. I'm going to first start off with sharing our Zoom interpretation instructions. So, bienvenidos a todos. Vamos a comenzar con nuestras instrucciones de interpretación para la junta. So, antes de comenzar, voy a hacer esto primero en español y luego en inglés. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to share the interpretation instructions. I'm going to do this first in Spanish and then in English. Para las personas que nos acompañan hoy a través de su tableta o iPad o de su teléfono inteligente o smartphone, favor de localizar el menú en forma de tres puntos en la parte inferior de su pantalla. De ahí pueden seleccionar Language Interpretation o interpretación del lenguaje y enseguida pueden seleccionar su idioma, en este caso el español o Spanish. Para todas las personas que nos acompañan a través de su computadora, pueden localizar el símbolo de interpretación en forma de globo en la parte inferior de su pantalla. Hagan clic ahí y después elijan su lenguaje en español o Spanish. Ahora voy a dar las instrucciones en inglés. Here are the instructions in English. For all those joining us tonight through their tablets or iPads or through their smartphones, please locate the menu in the form of three dots in your screen. You can click there, then select Language Interpretation, and then select the language of your choice. In this case, it would be English. If you're joining us through a computer, you can locate the icon in the form of a globe for interpretation at the bottom of your screen. You can click there and then select English as your language of choice. Before we move forward, we do want to provide a reminder of some of the different ways for folks participating in these meetings. So one thing is, want to highlight one, the raise hand feature. So if you ever were in discussion after a presentation or a conversation, feel free to raise your hand. That's a good way for our team to identify the order of folks that want to participate, but also just like lets us kind of organize ourselves a little bit in that sense. You could also use the react button to identify, thumbs up, show reactions as well. And then on the left-hand side of that, you see the chat. So that's another way that folks can jump in on conversations, even by just saying I agree on something or providing questions. I'm always keeping my eye on the chat, so if you do have a question that you want to raise for the presenters, feel free to drop your question in there as well. I'll bring it up and then hopefully get it answered by the presenters. So on screen is our agenda for today's meeting. So we're doing our welcome and general updates. We are going to get a couple presentations. The first presentation is going to be from the Office of Community Air Protection. This is going to be an update on story maps and some videos. So we are going to get a chance to see some videos, get some feedback on those. Then following that, we'll also have a presentation on the advanced clean fleets. So that is a presentation we'll be having today as well. That will take us through the end of our meeting. So we'd have two presentations on deck, but plenty of opportunity, I think, for feedback and remarks, I think, when it comes to both of these contents. So for the next section, for folks that were at our last meeting, you heard a little bit of this explanation. We're hoping to start implementing this roll call as a way to better track who's participating in the meetings and helps us track on the back end as well how we're distributing the stipends, hopefully addressing any concerns about, like, sometimes we hear that it's like, oh, I was at the meeting, but we might have not known that you were at the meeting. This is a good way of just to kind of like address that from the beginning. So Bruce is going to pull up the roll call. We'll walk us through that. If you happen to join, Bruce will call your name. You can just say present, presente, or if you join in after, once we've done your roll call, you could also add in the chat, just let us know that you're in the meeting and we'll track that as well. So with that, I'm going to pause my screen. Priest is going to pull up our roll call, and then we'll go from there.
Thanks, Christian. Good afternoon, everybody. Starting with Alejandro Amador, Andrea Hoff, Christopher Roberts,
And I saw Christopher Roberts trying to go off mute.
okay. We're going to mark them present. Elsa Escalante, Guadalupe Gómez, Irma Cepeda, Janet Caitán, Carla Samayoa, Jessica Moreno,
Present.
Juan Miguel Ornedo, Lorena Godínez,
Presente.
Margarita Amador,
Presente.
María Cervantes,
Presente.
María del Socorro Guerrero,
Presente.
María Gámez, Mariano Muñoz, Marisela Telles, Mary Vicario, Maritza Gerardo Chavarín.
Marisela Telles, presente.
Ah, ok. Gracias.
Gracias.
Maritza Gerardo Chavarín.
Yo respondí, cuando calculé más o menos que contestó María Cervantes, yo sigo enseguida María del Socorro Guerrero, presente, porque no escucho, de repente se me ve el audio.
Ah, ok. La marqué presente. Olga Espinosa. Penelope Jenny Quintana.
And I saw Penelope in the chat. They're present.
Okay. Shelby Busso. Stanford Morrison. Trinidad Herrera.
Presente.
Wendy Barrientos.
Presente.
And Zach Hernandez.
Lisa, I just want to make the note, I believe he is here this evening. Sanford is currently sitting in as the Sandag rep in the interim until they kind of finalize staffing at Sandag.
Okay.
No están traduciendo, disculpe.
Let me check in with our interpreters, just double check that they're.
I apologize. That was my fault. I was on the Spanish channel, and that's
Okay.
why it didn't get interpreted.
Okay, sorry.
I'll share it again on the English channel. Sam Sanford is currently filling in as an alternate for Sandag, and as they work out staffing, but currently Sam is here on behalf of Sandag.
Great. Thank you. We'll update our roster.
Okay. Hey folks, so I'm going to go back to our PowerPoint presentation. So those are general updates section. So on that note, Sam, I believe you were going to give us an update on the draft 2025 regional plan. So
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Pleasure to be here tonight. Just a quick update or announcement for the draft 2025 regional plan. As part of completing the plan, we've prepared a draft environmental impact report, and that analyzes the plan's proposed transportation improvements and how they could impact the San Diego region's resources, such as air quality, land, water, and more. And then also what can be done to reduce or avoid those impacts. So the EIR, or the Environmental Impact Report, is available for public comment on our website until October 13th. And we welcome any additional feedback on the plan and its potential impacts and effects on people, wildlife, and nature in our region. To access it, we have the QR code on this slide for those that can bring out their mobile device or phone. There's also the URL in yellow on the slide. If that is helpful, we're just going to sandag.org and you can get to it. Somebody put it in the chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam. And then just as a reminder, we did hear this presentation about 2 meetings ago, I believe, from Sandag. So yeah, just as a note, the deadline, I think, for October 13th. And then Sam, I guess one question for you, comments can be submitted in Spanish or English, or does it have to be?
Yeah, whatever language is preferred is fine.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. So yeah, if folks have any questions for Sam, or questions on how to submit a comment, I think that's something that Sam, I'm gonna say that you're available to respond to any questions. Thank you.
Definitely.
But yeah, if folks have any thoughts, follow up. I think Sam, if you want to add your contact info in here, it'd be great. I think that we have a point of contact for any questions that folks might have.
Will do.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam. So I'm gonna keep going. We do also now, Lauren, I believe you're on the line. I saw you in the chat. We're gonna get some updates from you for the Office of Environmental Justice. So
Thanks, Christian. I'll share regarding the first couple of points here. Good evening, everyone. My name is Shalem with the Office of Environmental Justice at the Air Pollution Control District. Thanks for being here this evening. Just wanted to provide 2 updates for folks. One is regarding funding for this program, also known as AB617, or the Community Air Protection Program. As I shared a couple months ago or so, that the state hadn't set money aside in its budget for this year for this program. That includes things like paying for stipends, our time together, supporting with the air purifier program, those types of things. We have funding for this coming year, but we need that state funding to continue the program moving forward after this year. I have a little bit of good news in terms of funding for this program. The legislature, so the state legislature has taken action through state legislation on their final budget. It's a bit smaller than what has been previously awarded. We don't know quite yet how much might be awarded to San Diego specifically for these efforts. It's a positive step, but the governor's office has not yet approved this funding bill. But the good thing is it's in the bill. There is support from our state representatives to move that forward, and then it will go to the governor's office next for their review and hopefully approval. So we'll certainly keep you all posted as this progresses, but it's a positive step forward. We really appreciate you all who may have called your local state representatives, sharing your support for this program. We really appreciate you doing that. I think it's really made a big difference in helping get that support for where the program is today. Again, the governor needs to review and approve the spending bill, but things are looking fairly positive. So that's one update there in terms of funding for this program. The second update I'd like to share with you all today is regarding a pilot project from IBWC the International Boundary Water Commission, which, if you remember, a couple of months ago, Sally was here giving an update on different infrastructure projects to improve wastewater treatment of water flowing through the Tijuana River. Have a little bit of an update there in terms of a pilot project that they've recently launched this past month. The local air pollution control district continues to engage our different partner agencies to address hydrogen sulfide emissions, or also which is also known as odors, right, from the Tijuana River. And IBWC is currently conducting a pilot project using what's called, and I won't get into the chemistry of this this evening, but I'll share with you high level what it does. But they're using what they call nano bubble ozone technology. Essentially, they're injecting at the where the river comes into the United States, injecting these like nano bubble ozone into the river, into the water itself, to reduce the hydrogen sulfide levels or emissions, with the goal of reducing odors that might be coming as a result of high levels of hydrogen sulfide. We wanted to also share with you all as well that the Air Pollution Control District, along with other researchers from UCSD and other parties, have raised some concerns regarding unknowns of this pilot study in terms of potential negative impacts to air quality, given the level and amount of unknown contaminants in the water, meaning that they're putting this solution in the water to hopefully reduce the amount of hydrogen sulfide, which causes those odors. However, there's a lot of other contaminants in the water besides the odor causing contaminants, like from industrial runoff and so forth. And so the Air District and also some UCSD researchers and others have expressed a little bit of concerns and kind of putting this solution in the water without having done more kind of research before doing that. But just to let you know that the Air District has been in touch with IBWC to learn more about the pilot that they are doing. And also the Air District is currently conducting air quality sampling as their pilot study is taking place too, to check for different potential changes in air quality in that area as a result of the pilot study itself. And then we will be sharing more information as we learn more as well from the results of any kind of air quality monitoring and sampling that we are doing. We'll be sure to share those results with this group once we start to get those results back from the air quality sampling. But one thing I really want to emphasize, as well as always, right, is that if you are smelling any elevated levels of odor or have any air quality complaints, please be sure to report that. You can do that through, we have an app, and I could put that link in the chat in just a few, but we also have a phone number that's on the screen that you can call. And you could also email us an air quality complaint that you might be experiencing. If you're experiencing high, a different kind of smell, if you're experiencing high levels of those odors, please do let us know. We're documenting all of this alongside the air quality sampling that we are doing as well. So as always, we're here to listen. We're here to send out inspectors to check out what may be going on as well. We're entering a little bit of rain today and tomorrow. And so that might mean that there might be increased flows potentially in the river in the next, day or two. And so we're also monitoring kind of flows as well, and also with our hydrogen sulfide monitors throughout the Tijuana River Valley, looking at those levels as well. We will send out an email alert if those levels are for hydrogen sulfide are going high. And I'll also put a link in the chat box as well if you'd like to get on our email alert, which is sent in both English and Spanish, to receive an email alert if those levels are going over the threshold that's been established by CARB, the California Air Resources Board, and others. I know that was a lot to share and unpack, so I want to pause there and then see if anyone has any questions or comments on what I've shared so far in terms of AB 617 funding updates, but then also regarding IBWC's pilot project.
Looking at the chat, seeing if there's any raised hands. Not
Hola,
seeing-
buenas tardes.
Oh, Wendy.
Wendy Barrientos, solo quería comentar que son muy buenas noticias y la pregunta que tenía era de que cuando necesitamos hacer alertas, ¿las tenemos que hacer directamente en la aplicación o les podemos avisar a ustedes también directamente? Gracias.
Yeah, and I apologize, there was no simultaneous English translation happening.
And I can jump in on that
Yeah.
part, Sean. So the question from Wendy is if it could be a simultaneous like reporting on it, whether it be in the app plus then calling, or is it kind of one or the other? What is the guidance there?
Wendy, I would say choosing one that you feel the most comfortable with would be best. Because we want to document one per person per incident. And so, but I would also say to let your friends and family know if they're also, experiencing the odors or other air quality issues, because they should also be reporting as well. So I would say for each person, choose which. Sorry, I'm hearing feedback. One second.
Maritza, I think you're up.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So for each person, choose which way that you feel most comfortable in sharing that air quality concern with the air district. And then, but also I encourage you to share this information with your friends and family as well, so that they can also be reporting as well. And the other thing I want to that's important to note as well is call or email or even use the app as soon as you're experiencing that, right? Because having when the time of day, right, that's happening is really important to the investigation as well.
That is really helpful, Sean. Just I think that, yeah, just reiterating that point. Any method will work. It does sound like the app, I think, does provide a little bit more like some flexibility there as well. But I think you're going to put the app or a link to the app on the chat for folks. And I think we have one more item on here. I think, Lauren, this might be for you. If you want to give that update, if not, I can share that.
I am happy to give it. Yeah, we wanted to invite folks to join us this Saturday, the 20th. We will be at an event registering folks for the ARE free air purifier program, and also sharing information about the hydrogen sulfide dashboard and just the odors in the valley as well. This is part of the I Love a Clean San Diego Coastal Cleanup Day. So it'll be a cleanup event in the Tijuana River Valley right by the community gardens there. And I will share a link for you to sign up if you want to join the cleanup event. If you want to just join us and say hi or register for a free purifier, no need to register or sign up in advance. But if you do want to join the actual cleanup event, cleaning up in the TJ River Valley, will be picking up litter. I will share that for you all to join us. And then please feel free to share also with your networks the registration information to anybody that might want to join or anybody that might want to come and register for a free air purifier. And I'll put that in the chat as well. Okay. that's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Lauren. Information is in the chat now for folks. So I'm going to keep moving on this. So I think we always hold space as well for any other community updates from the CSC and community that is on these meetings. So if there's anything you want to add, feel free to raise your hand. You can jump in on here. If not, you could always drop in a link if there's an event or something that you find relevant for this group. Feel free to drop it in the chat. So I'll take a moment to see if there's anything in the chat or any raised hands. Give it a moment. Not seeing anyone. Okay, but as always, I think this is an opportunity, to share that information. If you are working on something, an event, let us know. I think it's always good opportunity to share that information with our broader group here. So with that, we're actually going to go to our first presentation. This is an update on story maps and the video series from CARP staff. So I'm not sure if I see Nicole in our chat in our meeting right now, but is there someone from CARP that's going to be giving us this presentation?
Sorry,
Andrea.
I don't know why my name is listed as Andrea. I did not catch
Okay.
that
Okay.
until I turned my camera on. Okay.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, I was looking
Um,
for Nicole and I was like, I'm not sure Nicole's here, but I see plenty of people from CARP, so
Yeah.
someone will do it. But Nicole's here. Nicole, I'm gonna hand it off to you, and then I know we have 2 videos that we are gonna be playing, so we'll do a little bit of moment. We'll pull those videos up and share those with the group, and then I think we'll have an opportunity for feedback with a little bit of a interactive activity as well. So with that, I hand it off to you, Nicole.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for letting us come and speak tonight to give you an update on just the community input for the story maps and media. I'm Nicole Bruns. I'm an air pollution specialist here in the Office of Community Air Protection at CARB, California Air Resources Board. And I'm joined by my counterpart, Amaya Hernandez, who's an air resources engineer in the Office of Community Air Protection as well. Go to the next slide. And I do believe that there's live interpretation happening. So if I am speaking too fast, feel free to come off mute and just let me know to slow it down. But I will try to be mindful of my speed. So just a little background on AB617 annual progress update kind of process. So each year up until, well, as of July 2025, we went to the CARB board and gave them an update on the AB617 implementation progress. This is something that we have been doing annually. It's a chance to share and uplift stories of success, achievements, and challenges across all of the 19 communities, as well as some of the community air grants and local CERPs as well. And just in general, it's just an update on AB617. This update usually includes a concise annual report. As you can see, we have the title page here on the screen, some short videos, which we will get a little bit more into later on in this presentation. There's typically testimonials, which is sometimes comprised of an interactive panel of community members. I think not last year, but the year before, we actually had Maritza Guzman from Portside CSC come and speak during the board hearing. And then also we feature the story maps as part of this annual progress update as well. And go to the next slide. So with these story maps, we came here in January, just kind of asking for your input on the story maps. And questions that were kind of asked were, how did you engage with the story map? How would you like to share your story in the story maps? And what are the best ways that we can incorporate your vision and your voice into these story maps as well? Tonight, so we have some links that I can share so you can have some time to look over the story maps at your own time. That was kind of a huge feedback that we got from several of the CSCs, community steering committees, is that, it's not enough time, and, whether it's 15 or 30 minutes that we have to come present to you all to go over the story maps for you to digest it and then give us your feedback. So this time around, we want you to take as much time to look them over, and then we'll have a feedback form, which I'll describe a little bit later on, of how you can send us that feedback. And if you would be within that feedback form, you'll have the opportunity to let us know if you're open to sharing your story or providing any testimonials directly to us after kind of getting an idea of what the story maps look like. And then go to the next slide. So this slide just kind of shows you how we incorporated your input. So we came in January 2025, so a couple months ago, and initially presented on the story maps. I believe we showed you the 2024 rendition of them, which the timeline's always a little maybe confusing, but it was from 2023 to 2024. So this year's story maps is events and accomplishments during 2024 to 2025. So kind of summer to summer timeline. And during the January 2025 meeting, things that were brought up were achievements. So as you look in the updated story map, you'll see a section for district-wide and community-specific highlights. During the January 2025 meeting, more maps and illustrations were brought up. So we included an embedded map of the incentives map. It has details on there of the different incentives that are for this community, but I believe you can also zoom out of it and check what's going on elsewhere throughout the state of California for the other incentives. A request was more pictures and videos. So each section we've supplied with media that was sent into us. I think a lot of it was provided by the Air District, so thank you for that. And then we have a few videos in there. One specifically is on testimonial audio on air pollution and traffic. That was air pollution and traffic was something that was also mentioned when we asked for initial feedback. So we were able to include an actual video that has one of the community members speaking directly on that for the International Borders community. And then one thing that was mentioned, or the last bullet on the left side that was mentioned quite a significant amount of time, was the hydrogen sulfide H2S work and dashboard. We were able to speak, or we were provided some narrative to speak on that a little bit in the story map, as well as we directly embedded the H2S dashboard. So that is linked and live in the story map whenever you're able to take a look. Go to the next slide. Okay. So this slide will just kind of walk you through the timeline of what's happened over the last few months and what is kind of to come in the next few months and how we'll plan for 2026, or how the 2026 plan will likely follow. So in January, we spoke to you all. During January to April 2025, we actually went to several of the CSCs, including International Borders and Portside, and then the others in the other air districts. And that we did the same thing. We kind of just presented what the story maps look like and got some live feedback. From April to June, we started creating the story maps and updating a lot of the language and narrative through them, as well as trying to collect as much media and doing the video series. And then in July, we sent it to the Air District. We worked very closely with Shalem. Thank you, Shalem, for providing some review and direct feedback and narrative to include in the story maps. And then we refreshed that in time for the annual update to the CARB board, which was the end of July, on July 24th. I believe you can go to CARB's board meeting website. We might be able to find the link and throw it in the chat if you want to watch the recording of that meeting. It was a really significant board meeting because we were able to have a lot of community members come and speak. We had a few community members come and actually sit and talk in front of the board. And so, you know, I encourage anyone who's interested to check out that board meeting and take a look at how it went. And then, as you see noted on the screen with the golden star, from September to December, we're coming back and presenting to the CSCs, or at least letting you all know that the story maps are live. We're in the process of translating them. Once they are translated, we will let the CSC know. Either we'll come back and let's give a general update, or we'll let our CARB liaison, which I believe for this community is Cynthia, or Andrea, and just let either one of them know so they can, you know, drop the link again directly to the Spanish version. So that'll come soon. And then we'll pretty much do this similar process for 2026. We're right now in the midst of planning for that. This slide, if you want, with that QR code that's in the upper right corner, you can scan that. That'll take you directly to San Diego's English version of the story map. Once it's translated in Spanish, again, we'll send out those links. And then the first link at the top here that says Community Air Protection Progress, or the one below in Spanish, both take you to what we call as our homepage. This is where you can get some general info. There's video series on there, and then you'll see on there there's these story cards, and you can either go to, you know, the one directly for San Diego, or you can check out what's going on in the other air districts, the other 5 air districts. And then the second bullet, that San Diego Air Pollution Control District, that one takes you directly to the San Diego version, as well as this QR code. I have it pulled up on my screen if you all want me to just take a couple minutes to go through it, but do want to be mindful and give you all as much time towards the videos.
I think we have time, Nicole, so if you do want to pull it up, so I'll stop screen sharing. And then if you want to pull it up, I think it is a good opportunity to see how it looks as well.
Yeah. Give me one
Let us
second.
know.
Okay. So right now it's loading, and you should be seeing the Community Air Protection Progress homepage. This is also in process of getting translated to Spanish, so we'll have that available in the coming months, hopefully sooner than months, but we'll keep you all posted. As I mentioned, right here, there's some videos from several of the communities. I believe it was the one prior. Here's the one that we did for Portside. So you can check that out. And then again, in a couple minutes, we'll go over the ones that were created for your community at International Borders Community. So scroll down, and then that's where these story cards are. Before I head to the San Diego one, just wanted to let you all know that there's kind of some more like resource links. So if you want to know more about incentives, you can go to the community hub or directly to the website. You can learn about implementation, community air protection, community air monitoring programs, also known as camps implementation, and then community enforcement and community air grants. So if you click on this story card, it'll take you directly to this, which is our update for this year's or last year's annual progress update. As you'll notice with story maps, they work for mobile, so you should be able to view it on your phone. And also, I think because my screen is so wide, some of these pictures might look a little fuzzy just because of how wide my screen is. But you'll have some navigation links. You can click on these, go to directly either, you know, you want to see community highlights or Portside or IBC. And then we also have it linked here in this intro paragraph. We've included some pictures. There's narrative. But I really do encourage each one of you to, you know, take some time, look through this. If you can wait a little bit and be patient with us. We'll have a Spanish version and then share that out as well. But the feedback that we're looking for, we don't have necessarily a hard deadline. So, you know, as you're looking through this, you know, feel free to send us in feedback. This is one of the maps that we've included. It's the incentives map. As you click on it, it's interactive, hopefully. It might just take a little bit for my computer to load. But you'll just be able to learn a little bit about this incentive. And then it's color coded, matches up with this legend over here on the side. This we go into detail on port side. We have the video, and these are just some community achievements or accomplishments that have been identified to us. We have linked directly to the Portside Project and Lease expectations document. And then here is International Border Community. You have a link directly to the webpage on the Air District website. This is the audio for one of the community testimonies on air pollution and traffic. And just some more background on that and community photos. Urban Greening Project was identified, as well as the initiative for the 1,000th tree planted as part of the Trees for Communities initiative. And then discussion on the Tijuana River Valley public odors or nuisance odors. I'm going into detail about the H2S data dashboard. It's linked here. If you scroll a little bit further down, it should be live. But right here where it's showing kind of click anywhere to interact or learn more, that is where the dashboard is housed. Unfortunately, it looks like it's not available, so maybe there's just something, maybe I need to clear my cookies or something. So if that's an issue that you come across, one thing that we found with just story maps is sometimes we need to clear our cookies or clear the cache, and then sometimes it works a little bit better. It can be kind of finicky, so just be a little bit mindful of that. We talked about the air purifiers, tracking PM 2.5. We have a little bit of information on the Somos Aire play or story. And then at the very bottom is just some helpful links to CARB, Community Hub 2.0 for data or details on data and resources. Link to the San Diego website. And then this very bottom one is the feedback form. So I'll stop sharing and go back to the slide because I think I have a slide on that.
Yes, and I have it loaded up already. I believe this is that QR code, Nicole, that you're referencing.
Yeah, so you'll be able to scan this QR code or go directly to the link. You can find that link in various places, either through this presentation, we'll throw in the Zoom chat, and then also at the very end of the story map. It will be there as well. And I believe it should be on the home page too, and if not, we'll get it there. But this has just got a few questions on there just to kind of get your general impression of the story maps, what you would like to see. There is an opportunity if you're interested in being interviewed or have your testimonial part of the story maps, you can leave your contact info and we can reach out to you. And what that can look like is it can look like being part of a video series that will be featured in the story map, a direct quote. Yeah, there's different various ways that we can implement and include your voice into these story maps. But this feedback form will be the best way of getting that information to us. At the end, we'll have our emails and contacts, so you can also email us too. But this feedback form is also already translated in Spanish too, so that that should be live and available for you to check out. And then again, just last mention before we head into the videos, and I pass it to Maya, this feedback form is just going to be live. It's also, I think there's opportunities like if you happen to go to an event and there's something that you think is significant to mention in the story maps, or there's an accomplishment, you can include that too, and we'll use this feedback form to kind of help guide us with the narrative that gets included in the story maps. So it'll be live for, continuously, and you can leave us feedback. It can be anonymous as well. You don't have to leave your name or info, only if you want to, be interviewed or maybe have direct feedback that you want to communicate to us. And then the very first question, it does ask for what community. So if possible, that would be helpful to have that. But again, you can keep it completely anonymous. And I think the next slide should be the videos.
Yeah, so the next thing is the videos. So let me change screens.
Yes, I can introduce the videos a little bit. So hi everybody, I'm Amaya. I'm from CARB's Office of Community Air Protection. I work with Nicole. Some of you might remember me coming to a 5K event in May of this year where I did some interviews with some members of the community. We picked the topic for those interviews based on when Nicole and I previously came to a meeting and we were asking you guys for your initial input on what you wanted to see in the story maps. So we talked about some of the main priority concerns that you would want highlighted in the story maps, and two of those were the odors from the Tijuana River, and another one was the issue of cross-border pollution and traffic. So we wanted to focus on those in two of these videos. Feedback that we also heard was that you wanted more media and to see yourselves more in these story maps. So we wanted to have direct testimony from community members. So I've been working over the past couple months to just put those interview footage and some additional footage that I took around the community together into some kind of focus videos on those two issues. And we wanted to play them for you guys today so that we can get your approval if you like them as is, or if you have any feedback for something you'd like to see changed, then once we have your approval, we can go ahead and put these onto the story map as well. So some of you will see yourselves in this video, just a warning, but you all did a great job. I think we used all of the interview footage except for one because unfortunately it was very windy, so it impacted the audio. So we weren't able to use one of the interviews, but we used all the rest of them. So this is the first video on odors from the Tijuana River. And these are also translated already, and it does start with some reading, so just be ready to read a little bit. Wait, sorry, Christian. Could I ask you to pause it real quick? Sorry, I was just going to say if you could maybe pause it just and turn off the closed captions because we already put closed captions, and so I don't want the YouTube generated ones to cover up the ones that we did.
No worries.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go back so that if that came up.
Para mí, es una experiencia muy desagradable
porque nos afecta a toda la comunidad de aquí de San Isidro, porque salimos todos los días y respiramos estos malos olores que afectan nuestra salud, no nada más la de nosotros, también la de nuestros hijos.
Mi esposo tiene asma y le ha perjudicado mucho ese olor. En el día uno no puede programar nada porque no sabe cómo va a estar el olor.
No se puede tener las ventanas abiertas en nuestro hogar porque es demasiado increíblemente exagerado la forma en que no puede uno respirar.
Y hay días que huele pues como excremento, pero otras veces huele como azufre, un olor muy extraño. Entonces sí es un problema grave.
And measuring stuff is the first step, and we're super pleased that the Air Pollution Control District put monitors in several locations throughout the community.
Es importante porque así podemos revisar los niveles de sulfuro y cómo esto puede afectar nuestra salud.
There was kind of a natural experiment in September when Dr. Kim Prather's team, along with Dr. Granados, measured very high levels of H2S, almost completely tracking with the community odor complaints. And it really shows how the community is a really good indicator of what pollution they're experiencing.
Okay, thank you, Christian. I did want to just check and make sure I see in the chat, it looks like Maria says that she's not hearing it. So I wanted to make sure if others are having the same problem.
Pero solamente fue el video porque ya lo escucho bien a usted.
Ok. Y María, ¿le podemos mandar el video si tenemos todo el enlace? Se lo vamos a mandar a todos y... ok. So, María, no se preocupe, le mandamos el video para que pueda ir el audio también. And
Okay,
then,
sounds
Maya,
good.
I don't know if you have any precursor to this video. If not, then I'll go ahead and play it.
Yeah, same idea for this one, but this one is just focused on the cross-border pollution and traffic instead of the odors. So same thing, short video. And just in case if folks aren't hearing it well, I'll be sure to email this out to SDAPCD after this meeting to make sure that you guys can see it. They are viewable on YouTube, but they're not public. So you can only see it if you have the link. We're waiting to make it public till we get the approval from the CSC.
Okay, sounds good. So maybe if we do need to share it, we can just share with the CSC with that stipulation that it's still not final. But it does seem like everyone can hear the audio, but I know Maria might have not listened to the audio, so we'll follow up on that. But with that, I'm gonna go ahead and play.
Ese es otro problema también que bien ha venido causando ya por siempre.
Las garitas, a pesar de que son muchas, nunca están abiertas todas. Las colas son enormes, los carros prendidos hasta que de 2, 3, de hecho 6 horas pueden durar prendidos los carros.
Ya no puede soportar la polución de las emisiones de gasolina, pues que está haciendo eso que no pueda uno respirar y se siente uno tan incómodo.
Entonces sí nos frustra ver que va pasando el tiempo y pues no se ha resuelto.
Y todo eso nos causa alergias a los ojos, enfermedades respiratorias, afecta a toda nuestra comunidad.
Y todo eso nos llega a nosotros que estamos aquí pegados a la frontera.
Se me hace como muy injusto para todos los que cruzamos seguido para acá, que vamos pues a México y regresamos. Me gustaría que hubiera como más apoyo en todo esto de cuidar nuestro planeta y de cómo debemos participar cómo podemos ayudar para que esto, para que haya un cambio, para que se vean los cambios.
Okay, thank you for screening those videos, Christian. I think that they also view a little bit better when you're actually watching them on YouTube. I know that some of the quality does get lost when you're watching it in Zoom, but I don't know how much time Nicole and I still have. So if we want to hear any feedback now, we can, but
Yeah.
I am
Yeah,
also
I think we have time. So I do want to see if folks have any questions or comments. I know that I think any feedback on both, I think the story map itself and also the videos. But yeah, I think we have a little bit of time, so I want to see if there's comments or questions from folks.
great. Sounds good.
And I will say, great seeing folks on video. Does yeah, warm my heart to see folks on screen talking and sharing the information. So
Yeah, it's always better to hear it from the people that are actually experiencing it rather than, us trying to convey a message. So it is more powerful and, it's better to hear it from you guys rather than us.
I do want to open it up for folks and see if there are any comments, feedback, both to the videos, the two videos that we saw, but then also, yeah, that story map as well. I do see that there's some questions in the chat, I think mostly on, I think one component, the dashboard itself not loading. So Nicole, and I'm not sure if that is, I think, as you noted, a cache slash cookie issue or an interface issue on the back end with GIS.
I don't know. I think that might be an issue on our end with our GIS dashboard. I think since it sounds like it wasn't loading at the beginning of the meeting, but then it started working. I don't know if the website is still kind of booting up because that's the first time I've seen it not load. So I think that maybe tomorrow morning, Nicole and I can check to see if the dashboard still isn't working and we can talk to our team and try to get that fixed if it's not.
Yeah, I believe that in the story map, there are a few sections where we do link directly to the dashboard. I believe it's the paragraph above the dashboard and then immediately after. So we'll try to figure out what's happening with that. But just in case you want to check it out, I did try those links that are in the story map and it is working. I believe it's on San Diego's website actually. So it's working there. So if you want to check it out tonight, you should be able to through at least the links. It's just the embedded version for some reason is not loading.
Yeah, that's good. So let's see if there's any comments or anything, any other questions from folks before we move on. I think we do have your contact info for both of you. Jazz just put in the chat as well. So I think if folks do have questions or comments, I think we can respond to send those comments your way on both of those topics. One thing that I did have, and I do see Sam jumping in, just comment on great job on the videos. I did see some other notes, I think, earlier as well, just on the videos. One question, I think Maya noted that the videos would be included in the story maps as well. Do you know where exactly within the story map they would be located? Is it something that as folks come on to the page they're landing on, or just general position, I guess?
I think that we're probably planning to put them wherever the blurb that Nicole has put that's related to the topic at hand. So I don't know exactly. I'd have to look through them to make sure, but I think it would just be corresponding to where those topics are already talked about.
Sounds good. And then the videos are also then going to be public on YouTube. Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Mhm.
Any other questions or comments? Shalom, I see your hand.
No, I just want to say thank you to Amaya and Nicole, and I know Cynthia was also helpful in these videos as well, and I'm sure many others behind the scene as well. But yeah, thank you for this, and I think once these videos become live, we'll definitely share the links out with everybody on this call for the CSC, and would encourage you to share these videos with your friends and family, to share a little bit about the work that you're doing, why it's important to you, and some of the issues in which you all are working on with us. And so just wanted to say thank you. And once we get these links live, and I'll just really encourage folks to kind of share that out. Sometimes folks might ask you like, oh, what are you doing tonight? You're like, oh, I'm going to a community steering committee meeting. What's that about? You're like, let me text you a quick video. I could tell you what some of the things we're working on as well. I think another thing too, I know we have Sam from Sandag as well. One of the videos directly speaks about how traffic burden, right, the community is, and would love to maybe explore with Sam and others at Sandag is like, how can we make sure that we share this video with the Sandag board members, or even other planners at Sandag who may not be out in the field, right, out in the community, as a way to like continue to contextualize things for what the lived experience is in the community. So Sam, love to explore with you offline how we can, particularly the video around transportation and traffic, how we may be able to share that with both planners at Sandag, but also decision makers as well, especially during this critical time for like regional plan update, right, which happens every 4 or 5 years, and we're right in this critical moment. So would love to connect later, but just want to express my gratitude, and not only to California Air Resources Board staff, but also to community members and that participated in sharing their stories and also their expertise as well. And you all did such a wonderful job in just like clearly sharing the need, the urgency, and then also the importance.
Thanks, Sean. I do see Sam followed up and just discussing the opportunities internally once the videos are approved. So Maya, just to close out, I think like what is the process for that approval? How soon would the CSC get that like live link so they can share with their neighbors, their family members, their whole community?
I think that as long as the CSC is approving of the video, then we could post it pretty quickly. So I can maybe check in with Shalem and the team after this meeting just to share the links if anybody wants to take another look. But I'll just be checking in with you guys whenever you feel that they're good and approved and ready to post, then it should be a pretty quick process.
Sounds good. So maybe I think from our team, we'll send a note just to make sure that everyone's good with it, and then go from there. And Shalom, I think you can be part of that communication.
Yes,
Hi, Maya.
sounds good.
Nicole,
Thank you,
thank you
guys.
so much for presenting and being here with us today. We'll move on with our presentations. So we're going to be moving to another topic, a presentation on advanced clean fleets. So we have a couple folks from CARB here for this presentation. So Adil, Andrew, and then Dylan. So I'm looking to see if presenters are ready to go.
Hi, Christian. Yeah,
Andrew.
it's just going to be me today.
Okay, sounds good. So it's gonna give me a second. I'm gonna pull up our presentation on screen. Folks should be able to see it now. And Andrew, if you let me know, I'll just advance the slides for you.
All right, thank you. So this is my first time seeing the group, so I want to introduce myself. My name is Andrew Reyes. I'm an air resource engineer with the California Air Resources Board in the Mobile Source Control Division. So following the last presentation, this kind of ties in very well. with the traffic related issues. This is going to be your heavier, medium and heavy duty vehicles. Next slide, please. So I'm going to read off the slide, so bear with me, please. California has withdrawn its request for a waiver and authorization for the addition of the Advanced Clean Fleets regulation to its emissions control program. At this time, CARB is evaluating next steps. The state and local government fleets portion of the ACF regulation remains unaffected. Because CARB is committed to reducing air pollution to protect public health, we encourage affected industries to continue reducing their emissions, and we look forward to continued partnership in these efforts. Next slide, please. So part of the ACF, we have one of the components, it's the state and local government fleet requirement. And so who's subject to this? It's going to be your public agencies. So these are cities, counties, public utilities, special districts, local agencies or districts, and any department, division, public corporation, or agency of the state of California. So these are your medium and heavy duty vehicles. They're going to be over 8,500 pound gross vehicle weight rating. Some of these vehicles, I mean, you see all the time, they're your garbage trucks, dump trucks. Next slide, please. So we have some excluded vehicles. Some of these definitions, they're defined by the California Vehicle Code. A lot of these vehicles, they're sort of a minority, but this is just a small list of the vehicles. Next slide, please. So for this regulation, there's two pathways. We have the default pathway right here. It's your ZEV purchase schedule. So from 2024 to 2026, 50% of new vehicle purchases must be zero emission or near zero emission. Starting in January 1st, 2027 and after, 100% of new vehicle purchases must be zero emission or near zero emission. So these, if you look at the right, we have these designated counties here. These are our low population counties. And so these counties, agencies operating in these counties, they are only subject to the January 1st, 2027 requirement. So they're not in effect yet, but starting 2027, 100% of their purchases need to be zero emission or near zero emission. The near zero emission vehicles, these vehicles qualify for model year 2035 and older. So starting now up until the 2035 models, they can, near zero emission vehicles do qualify as a full zero emission vehicle. Next slide, please. So just real quick, we do have a reporting deadline. For that first option for the purchase schedule, it is April 1st every year. So typically in March, these agencies are going to be going on to our website and reporting their vehicles, all the information that we need from them. Any changes to their fleets, if they add vehicles, remove vehicles, or if they convert any vehicles, they need to make those changes within 30 days of that occurrence. Next slide, please. So some of the considerations we have for the purchase schedule, there is no useful life retirement. So some of these vehicles, it may depend on the agency, but they operate these vehicles 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years. They're able to use those vehicles their entire useful life. Agencies that purchase zero emission vehicles in excess of that 50% requirement right now, those excess vehicles, they will be able to purchase a combustion engine at a later date. It's a one-for-one, sort of a one-for-one transfer. And then their compliance is assessed at the end of each calendar year for the purchases that they made. And then for transit agencies, they do fall under ACF. However, they are exempt until January 1st of 2030. Next slide, please. So here we have our second option. So the first option was our purchase requirement. Now we have our ZEV milestones option. So for state and local government agency fleets, they can opt into this option. If they do opt in, it is permanent. I'm going to go over some examples in later slides, but their reporting deadline is February 1st. So starting January, they're going to be reporting all of their vehicles if they do opt into this. Next slide, please. So here in this table, we have each year listed, and depending on the vehicle and where they fit into these groups, we have group 1, group 2, and group 3. So depending on the vehicle, starting in those years, that's where the percentage is going to be applied. So for example, group 1 and starting 2025, this year, 10% of their vehicles in group 1 they need to be zero emission. And then so on and so forth, 2027, 10% of group 2, and then 2030, 10% of group 3. And so if you look, by 2042, 100% of their fleet needs to be zero emission. Next slide, please. So to kind of go into further detail, we have a breakdown here. To make the math a little easy, we have 100 vehicles. What we do here is we want to really focus on that bottom row. So simply because it states 6 vehicles or 10% need to be zero emission in that category 1 column, they can actually play with these numbers a little bit. So once you move down the list, so say in that middle column, group 1, where it says 75%, 45 vehicles need to be zero emission in 2033, just under that, it says 50% for category 2, and that's 10 vehicles. Well, they can actually take those 10 vehicles in group 2 and apply them to group 1 if they like. So they can have 55 vehicles in group 1 and 5 vehicles in group 3 to satisfy that 60 vehicle requirement at the bottom. So the table gives an example, but they are able to play with the fleet makeup as the years go by. Next slide, please. Now, with this regulation, we have quite a few exemptions and extensions. These are going to be granted to fleets that have situations happen to them that's outside of their control. So if they have a delay in their vehicle delivery, they're going to get extensions for that if they call PG&E or SoCal Edison and they're not able to provide power or do the construction for infrastructure, they'll get an extension for that. Of course, with these, there is an application process, and they do need to provide documentation of each application that they submit. At the bottom, if you see transit agency exemption, so transit agencies are already subject to our Innovative Clean Transit regulation. And so with the Advanced Clean Fleets regulation, they do have an exemption until 2030. Next slide, please. So with the changing environment, we do have proposed amendments for the Advanced Clean Fleets. So this is kind of the trial and error stage. The 45-day comment period ended on September 15th. We do have a board hearing coming up on the 25th. Assembly Bill 1594, it's to amend the ACF regulation to provide additional flexibility to most public agency utilities. So for example, if the power grid goes down and PG&E has electric vehicles, it's kind of problematic for them to deploy their fleet if they're not going to be able to charge them. So these amendments are going to take things into consideration to see what public agency utilities, what changes need to be made in order to accommodate their needs to provide services to their customers. Next slide, please. So how does ACF tie in? So the goal is to reduce emissions and emission exposure from heavy-duty trucks traveling to and from warehouses in Otay, Mesa and beyond to protect the health of people living along truck routes. So a lot of these trucks, they're emitting into the air. And strategy 1 advocates for CARB state implementation plan actions that support the reduction of emissions from heavy-duty vehicles or require zero-emission alternatives. And Action 2, the Advanced Clean Fleets Regulation, it was adopted in 2023. And it's medium and heavy duty zero emission fleet regulation with the goal of achieving a zero emission truck and bus California fleet by 2045, anywhere feasible and significantly earlier for certain market segments, such as last mile delivery and drayage. So for our drayage and rail yards, a lot of these vehicles, they're just idling, they're sitting and waiting for a pickup. So these are very high emission areas that we're working with. Next slide, please. So here we have our email and our phone number. If you have questions, please shoot us an email or give us a call. I mean, the email is mainly for fleets. So sometimes they reach out and they ask, you know, here's my fleet makeup. You know, I need help understanding the regulation and how it applies to me. But I mean, if you guys have any questions, please send us an email. I want to thank you guys for your time. And do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, let's see if folks, and I see Christopher has her raised hand. So Christopher.
Yeah, I have a comment and a question. So I work with San Diego Gas and Electric, and I'm heavily involved in the Otay Mesa region. And I just want to make a comment that, you know, the ACF rule for high priorities fleets wasn't all for naught, right? So it's like the education that was provided to Otay Mesa left a lasting impact, and we do have a lot of fleets that are still pursuing zero emission trucks for that cross-border use case, despite ACF not impacting high priority fleets at this point. So I just wanted to, you know, identify the silver lining there. And my follow-up question is there any plan of action in the future to bring high priority fleets back into the mix? Is there any plan of action?
So I guess, Christopher, your question would need to be sent to ZevFleet. As far as it goes right now, you know, we're evaluating next steps, but it is something that we are working on. I know it doesn't give a full answer, but our hands are kind of tied at the moment.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I just wanted to see if there were any, you know, novelties with the whole situation, but it sounds like it's the same.
Yeah, everything's up in the air right now.
Okay, thank you.
I do want to see if other folks have questions or comments for Andrew. And I do see that Jazz added some information for both Spanish and English for folks on the chat. So that's both speaking to the amendments, some details there, as well as the ability to provide comments. So I see Shalem. Christopher, I see your hand up. I'm not sure if it's a leftover, but if it's not, then just keep it up and then we'll jump next to you. Shalem.
Yeah, thanks, Christian. I just wanted to help contextualize why are we having this conversation this evening a little bit, just to kind of reground it. Andrew started to get to it towards the end of the presentation there. But as many of you, because you all were part of developing the community emission reduction program, also known as the CERP, identified, right, heavy duty vehicles being a really important air quality concern for you all, particularly in the East Otay Mesa, because that's the port of entry for heavy duty vehicles where thousands and thousands of heavy duty trucks come across the border every day. And as we know, in East Otay Mesa as well, there's a concentration of warehouses, right? Where many of these trucks are dropping off loads and turning back around and going back into Mexico to get more items and all. Just to kind of ground this too, the Advanced Clean Fleets rule that was developed by the California Air Resources Board, its goal So CARB actually adopted this rule, and it was for medium and heavy duty vehicles to transition to a zero emissions fleet, with the goal of achieving zero emission trucks and buses in California by 2045. And Andrew and Melinda and anyone else in CARB, please correct me if I'm wrong in that. And so what happened was, before there's any mobile source, which heavy duty vehicles are a mobile source of air pollution, even though CARB approved it, but before there's any mobile source regulations that are able to be implemented, they have to be approved by the federal government, specifically given what's called like a waiver from the Environmental Protection Agency. And that waiver had been submitted before this new administration came into office, but there wasn't any action on it. Once this administration came into office, there were some complications with approving that waiver. And so as of right now, as a result, and this was kind of the bulk of what Andrew shared tonight, currently CARB is looking to just move forward with a requirement just for like public agency vehicles. Is that right, Andrew?
Yeah,
Right?
that's correct.
So public agency vehicles. So, and would that also include at the local level, like there's city fleets or even other public agency, let's say the Port of San Diego and all?
Yeah, any public agency, if they have one truck, this regulation they are subject to.
Yeah, so there's been a major kind of pullback in what the intention of the original regulation was supposed to be, which was supposed to cover, you know, also non-public vehicles, right? Cover all medium and heavy duty vehicles to transition them all to zero emissions. And we know that diesel particulate matter, just to kind of ground this in our own health, diesel particulate matter is the leading cause of cancer. And in terms of air pollution concerns. And so this transitioning all fleets in California to zero emission vehicles that would be electrified, right? It was projected to really reduce greatly diesel particulate matter in the air, and then as a result, improve public health overall. So this scaling back, it's still going to lead to some reductions of diesel particulate matter, and hence there will be some associated improvements to public health, but certainly not to the degree in which the hope and the intention of the original regulation. But again, the waiver was not able to be received by the federal government, the Environmental Protection Agency under this administration. So I just wanted to kind of ground our conversation in both how it relates to the priority that you all included in the community emission reduction program that you all collectively helped develop. There was and on the screen here, there was actually a specific strategy in there that this community, this CSC, supports this advanced clean fleets rule as it was originally thought of, that was originally what was it, passed by the California Air Resources Board. But unfortunately, for a number of reasons, the program is needing to scale back at this particular time. And so that's what Andrew was sharing kind of about just kind of where the program is now. Again, just wanted to kind of ground that again in terms of what you all shared in the community emission reduction program, the CERP, and how that's also connected to local public health as well. And also, folks at CARB, please correct me if I misstated any fact there as well.
I'm looking at our chat. If there's any raised hands or any questions from folks or any clarifications, building on Shalom's points there. I do want to take a moment, see if it's a lot of information, so we do want to kind of take that moment as well. I'm not seeing anyone. But if folks do have questions, I think, bringing up the contact information. Andrew, I think you added your contact info as well in the chat. So, yeah, I think if folks have any questions, I think the one thing is we can reach out to Andrew with any follow-up comments from the CSC itself. And then I think as Shalom noted, like that rethinking, just starting to look at the CERP action as well. So if folks have any questions there as well, I think maybe follow-up conversation, I think, within the CSC as well. So Andrew, thank you for being here and presenting. I'm not sure if there's anything else on your presentation. I believe that is a final slide. So
Thank you, Christian. If I can just add in real quick. So I do work in outreach, and if there's anyone that wants to reach out to us and our team to do any kind of community events or speaking, we're more than happy. Just please reach out. It's a changing environment, and so we understand there are a lot of questions, and so without having any more confusion, we'd like to help.
sounds good. So yeah, it says if folks have any requests for any follow-up presentations from Andrew and the team to reach out, I think, yeah, again, the contact info for Andrew is on the chat. We'll share that. And then, yeah, so I think if any requests come in, specifically, I would say from the community-based organizations or groups that want to have any follow-up discussions, I think, Andrew, then folks can reach out directly as well. So with that, I'm actually gonna pivot. Andrew, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all that relevant information. So I'm going to come back to our presentation. That is actually going to take us through the end of our meeting today. So as folks can see on screen, our upcoming meeting will be virtual. So that meeting is going to be on October 15th. As always, our plug for that weekly digest. So look out for that email that has a lot of information from these meetings specifically. We'll be sending all that via those weekly digest. If you do have any questions or comments or want to add something to that digest as well, I think it is an open space where we can share some information as well. And with that, we are actually at closing. I'm not sure if folks have any other things to share.
I have a question about the registrations.
Yeah,
I know you.
Yeah.
Yes, Maritza Chavarin.
Maritza, sorry.
Sorry. I registered you that you say you send an email with the dates, upcoming dates, and everything. And I register, and they send me a confirmation and with the so to add it to my calendar. But today, the one trying to get to the one they sent me, it wasn't unable to join, but that link. And I go back to the link they sent it today or yesterday, the reminder, and I register again. I just want to mention, maybe, I don't know, it just, I have to register again for the meeting for today, and I directly go to send me to join the meeting. It's no problem, but I don't know if any cause of double registration or cause of, well, because a little time to get in the meeting, because
yeah, it shouldn't cause an issue on our end, but I think we'll double check, just make sure, and Maritza, we'll reach out separately to you just to make sure that we square away any issues with that registration. Yeah, I think for us, we want to make sure that we're making it as easy as possible. And that way, you have like it's the easiest way you can just join the meeting and have no issues. I know it is folks taking time out of their day. The last thing we want to do is be creating a barrier for participation in these meetings. So, Maritza, we'll reach out, and if we have any questions, yeah,
and it's very easy to the And thank you for all the reminders and information that send it to us to get it informed and updates. But it's very easy when I just go back to the email, and it's so easy to get from there. But I just say, well, I'm going to mention, because if we try to get also take an opportunity, and also maybe for you too, to know how many of us register, but
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know I don't know, it's only me or maybe more. That's why I decided to mention, but it's,
yeah, appreciate you sharing it, because I think it is always, I mean, we're always looking how do we improve this and make sure that we're creating something that's easy for folks. But yeah, we'll follow up with you, Maritza, and then I'll check in with our team on that as well.
thank you.
Thank you, Maritza. I want to see if there's any other comments, and Christopher did add some information. Christopher, I don't know if you want to share this before
Yeah,
we...
sure. Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, I think just because we touched upon the ACF rule, I just wanted to share that, you know, the reason that a lot of fleets are still able to move forward beyond, you know, CARB promoting ACF, beyond this committee promoting ACF in the area and the electrification. There's also a subsidy that's offered through SDG&E called the Fleets Program, which will cover anywhere between 80% and 100% of the installation costs of a customer in San Diego service territory. And in addition to that, within our border community, since we've listed it as a disadvantaged community within SDG&E's definition, not necessarily the state definition, particularly in Otay Mesa, we also offer a major rebate for the chargers themselves, going up to $75,000 for a 125 kilowatt charger or greater. I also want to share that we have a free advisory service that we just launched that helps companies learn about electrification and how can, you know, help them save on their economics, but also, like was mentioned, reduce diesel particulate matter in our communities, especially in that border region for idling diesel trucks.
Thank you, Christopher. And then I do see a note from Shalom. So we'll include that in the weekly digest, I think, for folks. And we'll include that both for Ports Sled International Border, given the reach of that program. So let's see if there's any other comments or any other feedback, but appreciate everyone jumping in and sharing their feedback, both with the two presenters that we had today. But if folks do have any questions, please reach out. And with that, Shalom, I don't know if you have anything to say before we close out.
Just want to say thank you to everyone that's here this evening, both community members and also public agency and company representatives as well. And to the presenters from the California Air Resources Board. Hope to see you on Saturday. Lauren's going to be out in the community. And if not, hope to see you in some other location, maybe El Rincon or Chilequiles sometime. But hope to see you soon in the community. If not, we'll see you certainly next month.
Sounds good. Thank
All
you,
right,
everyone.
take care.
With
Bye.
that, we'll close today's meeting. Gracias a todos. Nos vemos. Y Shalom nos va a invitar a los chilaquiles.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Adiós.
Thank you. Bye. Gracias a todos. Bye.